Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to our Thursday evening training. From wherever you are joining us today, I want to warmly welcome you to sit back and take the next 1 hour with us. I hope that wherever you are, this finds you well and very much focused to achieve the goals that you set for yourself in this new year and as we move towards the end of the first month of a new year. Can you believe already we are at the end of January, which is not cause for consternation, but rather for us to focus. I saw someone whose handle is Focus Man, and I think that we should all take that as what we should be doing because we have set our goals and now the time is here for us to do what it takes to achieve those goals. So, for those of you who are joining us, maybe for the first time or the first few times, I'd like to introduce myself again. My name is Betty Olo, a long-time Neolife distributor. Always very glad to be able to spend this time with you speaking about our products and how to position ourselves in order to support and help those who come to us for assistance, who are quite many. As we know, many of the illnesses that we come across these days are related to our lifestyle and our diet. And our nutritional supplements from Neolife, our home care cleaning products from Neolife, all go towards helping us to have a healthy lifestyle. So, as you might have seen from your invite for today, my session is going to be children's supplementation. And this is because I think at the beginning of a year, those of us who have got young children are probably very focused on how to get our children started well for the new year to achieve their own goals. I think most parents have hopes and plans to help their children to grow up into appropriately fulfilled, self-governing adults who will be able to make positive contributions to our society. And of course, in order to do that, one of the key elements we have to focus on is to educate ourselves and our children about good dietary and lifestyle choices, which are important for their good health, their good mental health, their good bodily health, all of which play an important role in achieving all the other goals that we have in mind. If we are sickly or unwell or not feeling up to things, it does impede our ability to focus, it impedes our ability to get up and get going in achieving our goals. So as parents, we do have to have this in our minds, how to ensure our children's good health. And my session today is to give some points on how Neolife can contribute to this. The first thing I wanted to say is that our care about children's nutrition starts from even before we have the children. So even before pregnancy, a good nutrition is important because it is a part of general health. Remember that our children take very long to be prepared for independent life. And this means that a lot of demands are going to be made on us as parents. So, of course, it requires that we ourselves, as we plan to start or to grow our families, we should prioritize healthy dietary and lifestyle choices. Even as we are thinking that we'd like to conceive a baby, we should be thinking about making sure that our bodies and our homes are conducive for the well-being of the family that we are going to grow. Some of the lifestyle points that we might want to keep in mind, of course, is opting for healthy, minimally processed foods as 80% of our diet. So, if, of course, we cannot get it right 100% of the time, even though we try very much, but 80%, I think, ought to be good enough that most of the time, most of our meals and most of our lifestyle choices should be ones that support good health. We should, of course, incorporate activity or exercise in each day, especially if we have got a sedentary job or maybe we have got work that requires us to sit for long periods or if we travel a lot for our work. So try to incorporate activity and exercise into each day as far as possible. Then, of course, the planning of growing or starting a family should be a good inspiration to eliminate harmful habits and minimize our toxin load. So we should try to eliminate, maybe if we're in the habit of smoking or excessive use of alcohol, this could be a good inspiration to stop that so that we prepare ourselves for the very rewarding but very demanding job of parenting. So, what supplements can we use as general supplementation for a healthy lifestyle? We can start with the optimal choice, which is Provitality, that provides us with a good range of nutrients that will fill in any gaps that might be in our diet. If Provitality is maybe a little beyond our pocket, we can opt for Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus. And if that is still a bit high for us, at least we should be using 3NN. So 3NN is the absolute basic supplement that we should all be using. And this is because 3NN takes care of our health at a cellular level, which means it's taking care that each cell in our body is actually able to function well. So by taking 3NN, we are going to benefit from all our other nutritional choices, good nutritional choices. So therefore, for people generally planning or starting or growing a family, those will be our basic nutritional supplements, Provitality or Formula 4 or at least 3NN. Remember that both Provitality and Formula 4 contain 3NN. So if you are using Provitality, you don't need to buy 3NN separately. If you're using Provitality, it's not really necessary to use Formula 4. So you can choose from those three what is going to fit into your budget. Then we go to the early stages of our children's lives, and that is what can we offer for expectant moms. So lifestyle and nutrition during this stage of expecting or during pregnancy should cater for the needs of both the growing baby and the mother herself, because again, pregnancy is a highly demanding period for the mom, both physically, her body, as well as her mental and emotional states. So for that reason, the lifestyle point we'd like to bring to your attention here will be resolve or minimize stress. We know that stress has got many harmful effects on our health. So try to resolve any stressors in your life or minimize them if you cannot eliminate them altogether. And this is because stress can have adverse effects on the health of the mom and thereby make pregnancy more difficult than it needs to be. And maybe can even bring about tension within the family and so on. So try to resolve or minimize stress. We also say, as far as possible, choose healthy, wholesome food. I know that during pregnancy, we tend to have all kinds of cravings, many types of cravings, and sometimes the cravings may not be healthy. As far as is possible, try to opt for healthy, wholesome foods, because the cravings is usually a message from the system that there is something that is lacking that the body is looking for. So it's not an indicator to, go into habits like drinking sodas and fried fast foods and junk foods and so on. It is a time to scrutinize your diet and see what is it that is missing that your body could actually be trying to tell you through those cravings. And also remember, by eating unhealthily during pregnancy, this can be the beginning of a struggle with a healthy body weight. The unhealthy weight you gain during pregnancy can be quite difficult to lose. And some of the bad habits that we pick up can also be quite difficult to get rid of later. So as far as possible, good, healthy, wholesome foods. Resolve any lifestyle related health issues as much as you're able to. So this may not be entirely possible, but keep an eye on any health issues that are pre-existing and see if by making certain changes and using our supplements, you can actually resolve issues like high blood pressure, like pre-diabetes, and so on. Then we also recommend that eliminate or avoid all known environmental toxins. So, for example, things like plastic residues and other toxins such as tobacco smoke, the use of alcohol and other drugs. This should be eliminated because they not only harm the health of the mom but can also have adverse effect on the growing baby. Then from New Life, we've got a good compact number of products that we recommend as the mix for the expectant mom. And here we start with multimineral alfalfa, which is a mineral preparation that contains a good number of minerals that are going to help with the development of the baby's skeleton and body, as well as maintaining the mom's tissues as well. So multimineral alfalfa, very important. We also recommend vitamin B complex, which is very important in different types of developmental processes. For example, the development of the brain and of the spinal cord, and also to avoid birth defects. So vitamin B complex, very important for expectant moms. Then we can go on to also recommend ProVitality, which is going to provide them with omega-3 salmon oil, which also plays an important role in brain and eye development. It will provide them with carotenoid complex that will help them in the development of the baby's vision, and will also prevent premature uterine contractions. We recommend also in ProVitality, which contains threonine that will support overall cell development and health, and also provide raw materials for the many hormones that will be in the mother's system to maintain and sustain the pregnancy. And last of all, we recommend aloe vera plus, especially if the mom is struggling with morning sickness and nausea, because not for everybody, for a good number of people, aloe vera plus helps to reduce nausea. If the expectant mom is struggling with nausea, we can add aloe vera plus. And if it works well for them, then they can use that because it is not harmful to them. Then from expectant moms, we go to this next stage, which is the breastfeeding stage. And here I cannot recommend breastfeeding highly enough. It is an extremely, extremely beneficial thing to do for the newborn baby and for the early period of the baby's life, because breast milk is not only the perfect food for babies, it also carries many physiological and emotional instructions from the mother to child. So things like messages for their immunity, and other types of messages as well as nutrients are going to be contained in the breast milk. And I do know that some moms will struggle with breastfeeding, but I really recommend that as far as possible, get as much support as you can get from within your family or your community to establish breastfeeding. It is very, very important for both yourself and for your baby, and will save you a lot of difficulties in the baby's early and even later life. So breastfeeding moms, we recommend you to drink plenty of clean water, but also as far as possible, bone broth is an excellent drink for breastfeeding mom, as well as the nutritious soups that you can make using bone broth and vegetables and such like things. So this is because a lot of fluid will be going out with the breast milk, as well as nutrients. So remember that you need to make sure that you're well hydrated to cater for that. Then another important thing about breastfeeding is that it plays an important role in helping the mother to return to a healthy body weight later, because, for example, it will help to shrink the uterus after giving birth and thereby contract the waistline back. And in addition to that, you will establish for yourself and your baby a very nice bond where you are providing them not only with nutrients, but also with security and a sense of belonging. So the breast milk, as I've said, forms an excellent foundation for your baby's immune system. And this is going to be a key role for all of their lives. Then the Neolife supplements that we recommended in the previous stage of pregnancy will be continued with here. So we continue with multimineral alfalfa because remember, now although the baby has been born, you are going to need to replenish your own minerals, but at the same time also provide the nutrients required for breast milk. So multimineral, we continue with that during breastfeeding. We also can recommend Neolife Shake to supplement good quality proteins, especially if maybe you are struggling with protein intake. But so it may or may not be necessary. You can assess how well you are eating and whether your ability to produce breast milk is okay. Then you continue also with Provitality, and then we now look at the next stage, which is the stage of toddlers and early childhood. So we are talking about 2 years plus. You remember, as I said, we really recommend breast milk above all as a fast food. If at all possible, breastfeeding should go on for at least 1 year and even as much as 2 years to establish the baby well in their early childhood. Then in the lifestyle side for toddlers and early childhood, we recommend that you delay introduction of sugar or sweetened foods or drinks, as well as refined carbohydrates as the weaning food or the fast food. You will notice that we have a lot of baby formulas in the market. But remember that when there are many baby formulas in the market, they are all trying to make their food extremely palatable for your baby so that your baby likes it and takes it best. Unfortunately, some of the methods that are used to make the food palatable could be starting your baby in the bad habit of craving sweetness as the main flavor in their food. When we think about the fast foods, remember that the fast food is going to lay the foundation for the child's ability to have a broad spectrum of flavors that they like. You might be interested, for example, maybe just as a point here on the side. In my culture, we have got some very bitter things that we eat. So, for example, we have got bitter leaves that are eaten as vegetables. And often people might wonder, why are you eating something that tastes so bitter and unpleasant? And a lot of these bitter vegetables actually are excellent for the liver. And our ancestors, in the course of recognizing different types of foodstuffs, added this to their diet because of the health benefits that bitter foods actually have. Sour foods also have got their part to play. So if the baby is introduced to sugar very early, you may find that they reject all different flavors. But if we postpone this as far as possible and introduce fast foods as normal foods that the families will eat, so for example, things like vegetable soups, things like fruits which are not too sweet, this will help the baby to develop a broader palate, that is, an ability to appreciate different types of interesting flavors. And later on in their life, they will be able to eat healthy foods without struggle. So just delay the introduction of sugary and sweetened foods and drinks for this reason. Things like bone broth and vegetables, soups, and so on can be excellent fast foods. And from there, the baby can be introduced to normal family food. As far as possible, avoid the unnecessary expense of baby formulas because a lot of them are supposed to replace the most perfect food, which is breast milk, and many others have got additives, have got too much sugar or a mix of sugar and salt and so on. So highly recommend that you start your baby with normal food that the family eats. If the family is eating junky rubbish food, then maybe it's an important thing to abandon that and focus on better diet choices. Neolife has got supplements that will help at this stage, that is early childhood and toddler years. We have got Liquivite, which is a supplement for little ones that is in liquid form. And then we also have Neolife Shake. Again, as I say, the first choice is breast milk. But as the babies grow, we can then introduce Liquivite and Neolife Shake. This especially, I would say, comes into play if, let us say, for one reason or another, breastfeeding is not able to cover the needs of the baby, or for one reason or another, the mom is not actually able to produce breast milk, because I do know there are moms who struggle with producing adequate milk for the baby. So then you can look at supplementation as a backup for such situations. Moving on to late childhood, we are now thinking about age 7 and above. The lifestyle points here are that we should have a good plan to teach our children to eat mainly during meals and progressively reduce or eliminate snacks. Snacking is a very problematic habit once it is established, and it is difficult to get rid of. We can start helping our children by not encouraging them to keep on snacking, rather emphasize eating during meals, eating a balanced meal. If children know that they are going to get a snack and there is a food that is not their best preference, they may then hold out in order to get their snack. But once we train them as they are growing that meal times is the correct time for eating, and the snacks can just be something, a small healthy item that can help them to get between one meal or another when they're still small. But by the time they're reaching this late childhood, you can actually reduce snacks quite a bit. Then continue with helping them to develop a taste for natural foods by avoiding junk food and other hyperpalatable foods, except maybe on rare occasions, explaining why it is that we only eat these foods from time to time. This is because they taste good in our mouth, but they don't work well in our system. They can be starting us down a problematic road. Then it is important to help our children. Sorry, I already mentioned that. The problem with, as I said, just to repeat myself, hyperpalatable foods, that is junk foods and packaged foods and so on, have been made in a laboratory with a specific aim to make them very attractive and tasty and addictive. So if we are starting our children with junk food, we are starting them on a path where they are not able to have a good relationship with food. That is, food is something you eat when you are hungry to supply your body with the nutrients that it requires. It is not an item for comforting yourself or for making yourself feel better. If there is a problem, we should try to solve the problem rather than to try to eat in order to feel good. Our Neolife supplements, again, here we have supplements for this age group where we can continue with Neolife Shake, especially if the child has difficulties with getting enough protein. Remember, at these stages, they are growing very fast and they require a good intake of proteins to support that growth. So you can supplement with Neolife Shake, but remember, a supplement supplements what you're doing. So we don't replace the proteins in their diet. What we do is supplement if we see that we need to do so. Then we also recommend omega-3 salmon oil. Maybe here we can recommend the omega-3 minis, which are a smaller capsule. If the big capsule is difficult, probably will be difficult for them to swallow initially. If they are not able to swallow the omega-3 minis, then you may have to pierce the capsule and squeeze the contents into their food. Then we also have Vita Squares, which is a broad spectrum supplement for them. And then we also have to support their immune system, especially during those seasons when we tend to have more infections, and also the period when they have just started school or have just gone back to school, as now we are at that stage. You may find that supplementing with VitaGuard and chewable All C will help with their immune system so that they are able to fight infections, or if they do pick the infection, they don't get severely ill, or they are able to bounce back from the illness fairly quickly. So there are the supplements we can use in that stage: Neolife Shake, omega-3 salmon oil, Vita Squares, and we can add VitaGuard and Chewable also. Then we are moving on to older children, preteens. These are the 11, 12, and so on, as they're approaching the age of the years of adolescence. Here it becomes very important to explain the importance of different food groups in the diet, and to also maybe give some information about the health problems that are linked to junk food. For example, things like acne, things like overeating and obesity, and so on. It's by this stage, this kind of information should be given so that the child knows why it is that their dietary choices actually are important. Then the supplements that we can have at this stage will be Formula 4 or Formula 4 Plus, but I think Formula 4 is okay. Again, the capsule here is a bit big, but I think by this age they should be able to swallow it. And then Neolife Shake can be continued with. And then omega-3 salmon oil also, we continue with that. And multimineral also is very important in this stage as they are approaching the age of puberty. We will need to support them in, for example, girls may start having menses, which means they'll be needing to replenish their mineral from the losses by using a supplement like multimineral. Boys and girls also can undergo very rapid growth at this stage, and so multimineral plays an important role. Together with Formula 4, you can add Neolife Shake. And of course, omega-3 salmon oil, we know it to be brain and blood health foods, so this should be there for them. So Formula 4, Neolife Shake, omega-3 salmon oil, and multimineral are key. If a child is seeming to be lethargic and lacking energy, I would also recommend adding vitamin B complex. Okay. Then now we are on to the teen years, and here by this time, I should imagine that the education of a child on the importance of their diet will have been underway. We also need to help them to start learning how to prepare basic meals if you had already not done that. So this is a good activity during school holidays and so on, or weekends where that is possible, so that they learn how the basics of preparing food. And this is because we are becoming more and more wary of the food, fast foods, prepared foods, prepackaged foods, and so on. It is a good thing to teach our children the basics of preparing food. And I know culturally we tend to do this with girls, but given that our culture nowadays, we need to teach both boys and girls about the basics, the rudiments of cooking and preparing food. And they need to be aware, both boys and girls need to be aware about the importance of healthy nutrition and healthy diets. We can also explain to them the reasons why we give them supplements, just some of the things that might make it important for them to supplement with our nutritional products in their diets. So educating them in pre-adolescence and adolescence is always a good thing, so that they can internalize this information and not be rebellious, thinking that we are simply doing these things inexplicably. I find that a lot of difficulties with adolescents and pre-adolescents can be avoided by having good explanations and good education about things. Because in effect, here what we are doing is setting them up for a healthy life in the future. And they will be the ones who will be living in that future. So, for example, most our children now are mainly not living at home most of the time, and they need to have had this information about their dietary choices. And as parents, we give this information. The child, as when they become adults, will make their own choices, but you will have done your part by giving them this information as they are growing up. So for the teens, we recommend Formula 4, continuing with Formula 4, and also multimineral alfalfa and Neolife Shake. Again, because the teen years are quite demanding on the system, I would also add their vitamin B complex that helps with energy and also helps with boosting the moods. One of the things that happens in the teen years is there is a lot of hormonal upheavals that happens in the life of a child, and they may find it difficult to control their moods and their temper. And vitamin B can actually play a very important role in helping them to calm themselves down and so on. Of course, supporting them as family members in understanding that there are changes that are happening in their bodies which they don't understand and could be throwing out their mood and so on. We need to be a lot more patient than probably we were when they were little, because now they are able to express themselves maybe negatively, and it may cause upset in the family. But I think the best thing to remember is that they are the ones who are going through adolescence. We are already adults and can try to be more patient with them and explain things to them that are going on with their bodies and why they may be feeling a bit out of sorts or a lot out of sorts, depending on your specific adolescent. So I see that our time is running out. I just wanted to share with you an interesting thing that I learned last week. It's a person was speaking about the 8th of January. Apparently, as a result of some research, 8th of January has been declared Quitters Day. So that is the day when people who had made New Year Day resolutions, people who had big plans for the new year, they start abandoning those plans on the 8th of January. That is at the end of the first week of January. Unbelievably, 80% of people seem to do that. They slacken off. But the fact that you are here with us today, the fact that you are building your business, means that you do not need Quitters Day in your diary or in your calendar, because you are not intending to quit. Your dreams are your own. Your goals are your own. You have set them yourself, and you are going to be the first beneficiary of them. So I think that there's something very cynical about declaring that a certain day is Quitters Day. Does not mean that we need to quit. What it means is that there will be a lot of dream stealers who are out there waiting to tell you that, I told you this thing wouldn't work, or I knew you wouldn't be able to make it. Remember that in New Life, every month we begin afresh and we set goals and we work towards what we know we can achieve, because we have seen it achieved by others. And we know that anytime that you are making a success of your life in New Life, not only you are benefiting, but all the people who come through your hands, whether people with whom you help with the products, with the education, with the business opportunity, you will be leaving a trail of better lives behind you. And that is why we should never quit, and Quitters Day should be something that makes no sense to us, because it really does not make any sense. And so with that, I want to wish you the best as we finish the month of January, that your goals will be achieved, and that remember, each month we start afresh and we do what we do best, which is to make the world a healthier, wealthier, and happier place. So Pascal is right here beside me, waiting to take you through the business part of today's session. Thank you very much for spending your time and your data on our session for today. Here is Pascal now.
Thank you very much, Betty. I didn't know the 8th of January is a quitter's day. That's really fascinating. Excuse me. I remember when we started the business, one of the first mantras we were told, winners never quit and quitters never win. That became a mantra in our business. So I think maybe you can adopt that as your mantra so that you don't fall victim of negative thinking people. So today I want to discuss with you two things, actually three. The first training of this month, we talked about setting goals for the year. And then we discussed in the next training how to do the basics, how to use the products, retail products, and then invite, show the business, follow up, and get people started. Then last week we discussed about how to get new people started in the business. Today I want to go in a bit more detail in one skill which is called the gateway of network marketing. The skill that if you master, everything will go well for you. That if you slacken on this, you will find that growing your business is a very, very big challenge. So what I want to discuss with you now is called inviting. I think it's the most important skill you can develop in this industry. All right. So inviting, what is really inviting? Inviting is a professional way of getting prospects to have a look at our business. That is really what inviting is, because nobody will know about our business unless somebody tells them about it. So the skill that you develop to invite people to see the business will have a very strong impact in the growth of your business. So to summarize what our business is, what is our business? Our business is getting a large group of people do a few simple things for an extended period of time. And what is that thing they do? Use the products and share it with others. That is really what we do in the business. And the way to get other people to do it is through inviting. Let's go through the sponsoring process. The sponsoring process starts with writing a name list of at least 200 people. Once you've written a list of 200 people, the next thing is to invite them to have a look at the business, either watching a video, a DVD, or a CD, or getting one-on-one with them and explaining the business, or inviting them for a Zoom presentation, or inviting them for a presentation on a face-to-face basis. After they've seen the business, the next thing is to follow up with them to get a decision. So today I want to discuss with you the inviting process. The inviting process, a number of things that are important. It's very important to note that we are looking for people who are looking. Why do I say that? The people who are looking for the business will recognize that they've been looking for the business very quickly. The people who, in fact, I had this some time ago when I was in the business, and I immediately understood the distinction. The people who want the business will join the business, whether your presentation is very poor or not. The people who need the business don't want to join the business. In fact, when I got started in the business, I was very excited about this. I thought that the people who don't have jobs, the people who are struggling financially, are the very people I need to speak to join the business. But I discovered to my dismay that the people who are struggling financially actually are not interested in the business. I couldn't explain that psychology. I just accepted it. So, inviting. You are looking for people who are looking. What is the goal of inviting? What is the goal of asking people to look at our business? Two things. Education and understanding. Education simply means is to pass on enough information so that the prospect understands that there is a need for them to do the business. So the goal, education and understanding. The goal is not to convince. Many times when I speak to prospects, and I show them the business. I answer all their doubts. I answer all their objections. And then they make a statement, "You're trying very hard to convince me." No, I'm not trying very hard to convince anybody. I'm trying to give prospects information so that they can make a decision. And one of the ways that people avoid making a decision is to find excuses. So the goal is to educate and to bring understanding. And that is done through asking the right question. It's called a qualifying question. An example of a qualifying question is, let me say I was at the bank, or I was in the supermarket, whatever it is, and I met somebody and you exchange information, and then I tell them, by the way, I'm running a business. This is my business card. I'll speak to you later about it. Either the same day or the next day, I give them a call. I say, "John, this is Pascal. We met the other day at the bank. I've got a quick question for you. Are you open to look at a way to make extra money working on a part-time basis?" That's a qualifying question. If they say, "Yes, I am open," they tell me, I can't explain the business to you on the phone, but I would like us to set a meeting so that I meet face-to-face with you so that I show you what the business is. What does that mean? That they need something to physically see. They need to physically see something, either a magazine or a brochure or a catalog, something they need to see when you're speaking to them one-on-one. Or you invite them for a big meeting. Say, "Hey, John, we're having a meeting on this day, at this time, at this venue. I'd like you to come. If you want, I can pick you up so that you come together." That is the inviting process. But there are 4 key things that are very important in inviting. And this, for me, was a very hard lesson. Number 1, detach yourself emotionally from the outcome. What does that mean? It means you've made a decision internally, or your attitude is, "I don't care whether you join my business or not." You don't tell your prospect that, but that is your attitude. "I don't care whether you join my business or not. I'm just showing you the business because I believe it's good." So detach yourself emotionally from the outcome. When you do that successfully, whether people say yes or no, it's immaterial. One of the toughest things I had to face in this business is to accept that some people will say no, that some people will not see the vision I see, that some people will make fun of the business. I remember when we started, one of my colleagues, an engineer in the company that I was working on, I invited him for a meeting and we went. I was very excited. After the meeting, he turned around and looked at me and said, "Pascal, you're an engineer and you're selling soap." I got quite devastated with that comment. And when I went for the training, I spoke to at that time, my Upland leader, my trainer, Johannes van Eden. When I told him that, he burst out laughing. Then he says, "Now I know you're doing the business. If you haven't come across comments like that, then you're not doing the business." So it took me a while to recover that. And eventually I realized not everybody will see what I see in the business. This business, anybody can do, but it's not for everybody. So eventually, as time goes on, I began to be comfortable with people saying no to the business. So the first step is detach yourself emotionally from the outcome of the process. Number 2, be yourself. Don't be different from when you're speaking to the person and you're different than your family. Be yourself. Why is that important? Because then it creates authenticity. And one of the most important attitudes of success in life is authenticity. Number 3, be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm comes from the word envy, or the God within. Enthusiasm is something very important for success in life. People actually are attracted to enthusiasm. People are excited about life. Enthusiasm is something that happens within. Excitement is the expression of that inner enthusiasm. And the 4th aspect is be bold and confident. It simply means have a very strong posture. don't approach people as if you're begging them to look at the business or to join the business. When you're new initially, it may appear so that you want people to join, you make it easy to them. No, it's important to maintain a confident and strong posture. It simply means your job is to explain or share information and educate your prospect about our business. That is it. So having gone through those four things, detach yourself emotionally from the process, be yourself, be enthusiastic, be bold and confident, or rather have a strong posture. Then the inviting formula. The inviting formula is a process that you go through to invite the person professionally to look at the business. Step number one, be in a hurry. Step number two, compliment the prospect. Step number three, make the invite. Step number four, get commitment. Step number five, confirm the meeting. Step number six, schedule the next call. This is what I mean by those steps. You pick up the phone, and I said, John, we met yesterday at Standard Bank. I've got a question for you. Are you open to look away to earn extra income? You say yes. Okay. I'm in a hurry right now. I cannot explain the business to you, but I was very impressed by your attitude towards work and towards you. You seem to be a very professional person. Can we meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock? I want to explain the business we do. I need about 10 or 15 minutes of your time. They said, okay. Can we meet at this restaurant at 10 o'clock? You say yes. So tomorrow we can meet at 10 o'clock. If there's any changes in your schedule, you've got my phone number. Tell me at least 1 hour in advance if our meeting is still on. If I don't hear from you, then the meeting is confirmed tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Is that fine? Yes. Okay, see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. That is what the invite is if you're setting up an appointment for a one-on-one. If you're inviting somebody to watch a video, the process have the same elements but the different wording. You might say something like this. John, we met yesterday at the bank, and I was very pleased by your level of professionalism when you're explaining to me what you do at your business or at your job. I've got a question for you. Are you open to look at a way to earn extra income? Most people will say yes. Okay, I'd like to send you a short 10-minute video for you to have a look at. Explain briefly what our business model is. If I send you the video, would you watch it? Then you keep quiet. Most people will say yes. You don't send the video yet. You say, okay, when do you think you will watch the video? Now you're getting a commitment. The reason you ask that question that way is the prospect is the one who sets the time when they're going to look at the video, not you. So you ask, when do you think you will watch the video? If you ask it like that, there'll be silence on the other side. They'll probably say, if it's a 10-minute video, maybe I'll watch it now. Or I'll watch it in the evening when I have done the things I want to do. Don't they send the video yet? Go to the next question to commit. So if I send you the video now, you're going to watch it at 7 o'clock when you're free. Say yes. All right. So after I've sent it to you, when can I call back to discuss the contents of the video? Then the person will tell you, maybe you can call me later in the evening at, let's say, 8 o'clock, or tomorrow morning. Let me say they say, call me tomorrow at 10. Then you ask a question to confirm the appointment. So tomorrow, 10 o'clock, if I call you, you would have watched the video. The person will say yes. What have I done? I've asked them to commit themselves at least 3 times to watch the video. If you skip one of those steps, the chances of the process watching the video is about 20%. But if you ask those questions until they say 3 times or 4 times, yes, I'm going to watch the video. If you call tomorrow at 10, I will have watched the video. The chances of them watching the video is 80%. So if they say tomorrow you can call at 10, okay, I'll call you tomorrow, 10 o'clock, then we can discuss the content of the video. Thank you, and I appreciate your time. That is the way to invite a person to watch a video. Let me say you're inviting somebody for a presentation, which is at a hotel. Let me take an example. At the Hilton Hotel in Nairobi, for those of you who are in Nairobi. You invite a guest. John, we met yesterday. and I told you I'm running a business. And I was very happy by the commitment you have for your business, but you expressed an interest to look at a way to earn extra income. We have a presentation tomorrow at the Hilton Hotel at 2 o'clock. Would you be able for me to pick you up so that we go together? They may say, no, I can find my way because I'll be driving from this place. Then tell them, okay, the meeting starts at 2, but if you're to get the front seat, be there at 20 to 2. They say, yes, okay. Then tell them, if you come to Hilton Hotel, you enter at the entrance, you'll find security. They normally do security checks because of security reasons. Once you've gone through, you will see 2 ways to get to the venue. There's a lift, which takes you to the first floor, or you can walk up the stairs, and the stairs have got red carpets. Then if you reach the top of the stairs, you turn right, you will see a signboard written New Life Business Opportunity. The reason why you describe those details and colors is so that the thing sticks in the mind of the prospect. That is the reason you describe the details of where the venue is, what to see when they get to the entrance, what is likely to happen. When you make those details, the message sticks in the mind of the prospect, and you increase the chances of the prospect actually coming for the meeting. The best way is to pick them up, because then they're going to be with you and they'll attend the meeting. So that is the inviting formula. Different ways, either somebody to watch the video, or you're meeting one-on-one, or you're meeting somebody at a live business venue. That is a process of inviting a prospect successfully to look at the business. The next thing is following up. What is following up? Following up is honoring what you promised. Following up means once the person has seen the business, the next step is to go through with the process of them seeing the presentation and taking a decision to start. So honoring the process that you promised. Number 2, you need to realize that the average person needs 4 to 6 exposures before they join the business or the products. So when somebody says no, or does not make a commitment to come, or doesn't say yes the first time, don't give up. In fact, I was smiling to myself on Monday when Engineer Wycliffe Muga was explaining how Dr. Karaoke was very persistent to invite him for the meeting. And I was saying, this is what our distributors need to learn, to be persistent, because that is my next topic, to be persistent about following up prospects. Even when the prospect has said no, they're not interested. You just need to be persistent. So remember, the average person needs 4 to 6 exposures to say yes or to actually make a decision. So don't worry if they say no. Even if they say no 5, 6, 7, 8 times, go back to them. Even if they say, don't call me again about this business, just tell them, okay, I know this is not the right time for you to join the business, but can I call you in 2 months? Most people will say, yes, you're free to call me. Okay? Then, number 3, condense exposures for better results. What does that mean? It means your one-on-one should not take more than 30, 40 minutes. Your one-on-one should take at least 10 to 15 minutes. Why is that important? It is important so that, you see, when you spend 1 hour explaining the business to a prospect, you're actually training the prospect. They begin to think that if I join the business, I have to spend an hour with everybody I show the business. And then they conclude that the business doesn't work. No, it's because you're spending too much time on one prospect. So condense the exposure for better results. It means use a short time as much as possible. Use a video, use tools. Number 4, objections. Objections will be there all the time. In the last 28 years, I've had objections left, right, and center. Some people are saying this is a scam. Some people are saying it's a pyramid scheme. Some people are saying they don't have time. Some people are saying they don't have money. Some people are saying, I've seen so-and-so, it doesn't work. All those excuses, I've seen all of them. But just to give you an idea of what some of the responses you can, if somebody says it's a pyramid scheme, tell them, in fact, a pyramid scheme is actually illegal. But we've been doing this business in South Africa since 1971, in East Africa since 1996, West Africa 2000. So if it is illegal, it should have been closed down by now, right? So it's not an illegal business. And by the way, there's a difference between a pyramid scheme and a legitimate network marketing business. Three things. Number one, a pyramid scheme, there is no product or service offered to the public. Number two, a pyramid scheme is illegal and the person who starts the scheme is the one who wins. Number three, in a pyramid scheme, they don't have an office, they don't have a regulatory body. In our business, the Direct Selling Association is the one that regulates our business. A pyramid scheme doesn't have those things. A most important thing to know about a pyramid scheme is the difference is network marketing have products or services offered to the public. A pyramid scheme, there is no product or service offered. Very simple. Some people say they don't have time. Well, all of us have 24 hours a day. It just depends on what we think is important. We'll give our time. Okay, so there are many. The objections can be boiled down onto two main things. All the others are excuses. Two things. One, the prospects has limiting beliefs in their ability. They don't believe that they become successful. How do you overcome that? Tell them your story. Tell them that you're just like them when you started. I know how you feel. I felt that way when I started, but I found that with training and consistency, you become successful. The next challenge is limiting beliefs in network marketing. Most people don't believe that this business actually works. Okay? So when people say they all sorts of reasons, they don't have belief that this thing works. So tell them the story of yourself or somebody who's been very successful. And then let's go to the 4 questions that you need to ask your prospects to close them. And these questions are very important and they have been thought through very, very carefully. Number 1, after they have seen the business presentation, the question you need to ask is this: did the business presentation make sense? Did the business concept make sense? The reason you ask it that way is to check whether the person actually understood what was going on. If they say, no, I didn't understand, then you can explain briefly. Our business is very simple. We simply move products from near life to different customers. That is what our business is. In return, we are paid by the company for doing that work. Okay? So ask the question, does the business make sense? Most people will say, yes, it made a lot of sense. The next question, what did you like most about the business? Is it the business or the product or both? What did you like most? Remember, I don't ask what their opinion is. If you do that, you're eliciting a negative response. If you ask, what did you like most? It means you're asking them to point something they liked. Then, the next question, do you see yourself achieving your dreams through the business? You're asking them if they can project and picture themselves becoming successful in the business. If they say yes to all these questions, the next step is, I'm very excited that you've made the decision or you want to start our business. Here there is the application form. How do you pay? Do you pay cash? Do you pay bank transfer? Do you pay by mobile money? Whatever it is, the amount is this. Just fill in your details. Do you want to use your pen or mine? You need to help your prospect make the decision. So that is what to do in the follow-up and the close. And then the next thing is persistence. This word persistence, I think all of us have heard about it. I think we know what it is, but it would help to know how to implement it so that it becomes a habit for success. What is the difference between persistence and consistency? Persistence is following a goal until you achieve what you're looking for. Consistency is doing the same thing over and over again. Okay? For example, if you go to, my wife and I go to church, and we sit at the same bench at this every time we go to the front, I think the third row on the right, we sit at the same place. That is consistency. That is doing the same thing over and over again. Or sometimes when I take a walk or run in the morning, I can tell the time by an old man who runs. He is consistent. It means he does the same thing over and over again. But persistence is a state of mind and a sustained effort towards a goal. Okay? And that requires the strength of will. So it's a state of mind, sustained effort towards a goal, and helps you to develop a strength of will to go after what you're looking for. And how does it start? It starts with a definite aim or goal. For example, your goal could be to earn $100,000, let me say $2,000 at the end of 2025, or $3,000 at the end of 2026. Definite goal, it means something that has got a date with it. That's the start of helping you to be persistent. Number two, you need an intense desire to achieve that goal. The word desire comes from the word sire, which means to give birth. To desire, which means you've conceived something in your heart and you want to bring it to become a reality. The more intense the desire, the better the chances of you developing persistence. And then you need to prepare definite plans. That means you need to know what you want to do, how to do it, when to do it, so that you keep doing it over and over again until you achieve your goals. Definite plans. Then you need to have accurate knowledge of what you want to do. Knowledge about the business. Let me speak specifically about our business. You need to have accurate knowledge of our business. The marketing plan. How do you invite people to see the business? How do you follow up? What the products do? If somebody has high blood pressure, what products do you recommend? The more knowledge you have about the business, the easily you find it to take action to become successful. And then this has to become a daily habit. We are creatures of habit. If anybody spends a day or two with you, they'll be able to tell whether you're going to succeed or not. Because our daily habits is what determines our destiny. Your daily habit, the things you do every day. So make sure that every single day you do what it takes to become successful. Use the products, share the business, share the product, personal development, read a good book every single day. If you do these basic things, you're going to develop persistence. And if you develop persistence, success is going to come to your doorstep. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you very much for spending time with Betty and myself. I wish you every success. The month of January hasn't ended yet. In our business, we say it's not, what do you say? It's not the end until it's the end, or something like that. Keep doing what you need to do to become successful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention. We appreciate you taking your time for us to share with you some of this information. And Cynthia, thank you very much for hosting our meeting today. Good night and God bless.